Welcome to the Jefferson Fisher podcast, where I'm on a mission to make your next conversation the one that changes everything. If you love learning practical tools to become a calm, confident communicator, go ahead and follow this show and leave a quick review. Now, today, we're diving into one of the hardest communication challenges out there. How do you talk to a narcissist? Because at some point, we all face one. Maybe it's your boss, your parent, your ex, a friend, or that coworker who somehow always turns everything back to themselves. They look normal on the outside. But the moment they start talking, something just feels off. You walk away from conversations feeling drained, doubting yourself, or replaying the argument in your head for hours. So today, we're going to talk about exactly what's happening and how to stop losing your peace in those moments. Let's clear something up right away. I'm not a psychologist or a therapist. I don't diagnose people, but I've spent years in courtrooms, depositions, and negotiations with personalities that, let's just say, fit the profile. So what I'll give you today are practical, real-world tools that work. Now, what exactly is a narcissist? It's simple. It's someone who cannot imagine what it's like to be someone else. They don't empathize. They imitate empathy when it benefits them, but they can't feel it. They always have to be the hero, the victim, or the center of the story. If someone else is happy, they need to be happier. If someone else is upset, they need you to be more upset because their emotions always have to be the biggest in the room. The truth. They live in a world where everything revolves around them. And once you understand that, you stop expecting them to think like you do. When you talk to a narcissist, you're stepping onto a game board. And that game is called praise or provoke. If they're not getting enough praise, they'll switch to provoke. They'll start poking, insulting, twisting, until you finally snap because your frustration feeds them just as much as your compliments do, let me tell you. It's a rigged carnival game. You can't win it because it was never designed for you to win. It's designed to keep you spinning that wheel over and over until you're exhausted and they're in control. So what do? So you take your pieces off the board. You stop playing. That means no reacting, no defending, no proving, no, but you said. When you catch yourself justifying or explaining, pause, because that's how you know you're already in the game. Instead, you stay calm. Breathe. Let their bait fall to the floor. You don't have to pick it up. You ever notice how silence makes a narcissist uncomfortable? They thrive on control, and control needs reaction. Silence gives them nothing to control. Here's the rule: the silence can never be misquoted. You can't twist silence. You can't manipulate it. You can't replay it out of context. It's your secret weapon. So instead of writing paragraphs or voice notes or long texts, stay short, stay neutral. Phrases like, "Oh, okay, noted. I hear you. Wow, that's good to know." These are gold. They don't feed the fire. They don't add emotion. They simply end the sentence. And when you stay emotionally neutral, you're saying, you don't control my tone, my peace, or my energy. Now, that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're wise. You're choosing not to throw energy into a black hole. This is the hardest one. You're not going to get the apology you deserve. Not the kind that feels genuine. Not the one that makes you finally exhale and say, now they understand, because they can't. They don't have that gear. So stop waiting for closure from someone who benefits from keeping the door open. You don't need an apology to validate your feelings. So you don't need their approval to know you're right. You don't need to replay every conversation trying to find the sentence that will finally make them get it. You know your truth. And your peace starts when you stop digging for understanding from someone who's made it clear. They don't care to understand. So when that voice in your head says, but maybe this time, remind yourself, you're not responsible for their growth. Your job is to protect your peace. All right? It's time for one of my favorite parts, answering a listener's question. This one comes from Mary Ann in North Carolina. Jefferson, I'm a divorced mom with 2 kids. My ex-husband is a diagnosed narcissist. Every time I try to communicate with him, it makes things worse. What can I do? Mary Ann. First of all, I want to say this. The fact that you're asking this question tells me something powerful. You're a good mom because you're not looking for revenge. You're looking for peace and healthy communication. That matters. Now, I can't imagine the daily challenge you face, but here's what I've seen work One use. If you think that's a good look for you, it's subtle but powerful. It reminds them people are watching. And narcissists care deeply about how they appear. When you say, if you think that's a good look for you, it's like holding up a mirror. It forces them to think, wait, how will this make me look? And that moment often makes them pull back. 2, keep communication on record. Text or email whenever possible. That way, they can't gaslight you later by saying, I never said that. You can calmly say, this is a contradiction, period. No emotion, no explanation, just fact. 3, keep it short. Long texts give them material to twist. Stick to one sentence if you can. The less you give, the less they can use. 4, be the gray rock. That means boring, calm, unreactive. No emotional highs, no defensiveness, no drama. The less reaction they get, the less control they feel. Talking to a narcissist isn't about changing them. It's about protecting you. It's about learning how to stay calm when someone else thrives on chaos. It's realizing that your silence, your boundaries, and your peace are stronger than any argument you'll ever win. So remember, don't play the game. Silence is power. You don't need their apology to heal. If today's episode helped you, follow this podcast. And if you'd like to keep learning with me, sign up for my weekly communication tips newsletter. I send one short, practical insight to your inbox every week, and it might just be the thing that changes how you handle your next tough conversation. Thanks for listening. Until next time, stay calm, stay kind, and stay strong.